Today, we're going to chat about the Vatic Pro V7 Prism paddle. The Vatic Pro V7 Prism is an elongated shaped paddle with a stock static weight that ranges from 7.8 to 8.2 ounces. One thing with that, you can request a certain stock weight from them, and if they're able to fulfill it, they will try to fulfill it or be as close to the number as possible. It's a very nice thing. A lot of companies are starting to do this, but Vatic has done this from the beginning. Another thing about this paddle for me, it is my paddle of choice that I play with regularly for practice, rec, tournaments, teaching. Pretty much everything in pickleball, I do it with this paddle when I'm not reviewing another paddle or I'm trying out a new paddle per se. I always find I come back to this paddle and it's familiar. It feels good. The face is gritty, which is something I'm very big on. And I just like the foam injection feeling more than the thermoform feeling personally. I find with thermoform paddles, my dinks are springy and they pop up more often than not. And I have trouble controlling them at times. Not in the sense that like the ball is just spraying all over the place controlling them, but in the sense that it's a small margin in pickleball when it comes to some certain shots, and I just prefer the foam injected V7 more than the thermoform V7. Prior to the Prism line's inception, I want to say in early spring to early summer of 2023, I was playing the Vatic Pro V7, so just the orange one, the thermoformed one. And I also very much enjoyed that paddle. My longtime men's doubles partner currently still plays his orange V7. He has for a year now, and he loves it. I could not say enough good things about that paddle, but for me personally, I prefer the Prism. And some of the pros to it not being thermoformed is that it's more soft, it's more plush feel when you're, dinking or resetting the ball or even just volleying the ball in the air when it comes to kind of like the aerial drives and volleys. I find it to be more comfortable personally. Mine have typically come in at a static weight between 7.8 and 8.2 ounces. Something with Vatic that I don't know if a lot of people fully realize is you can custom your weight in your order. So what I like to do is I like to tell them, hey, can you give me this paddle at 7.8 or 7.9 ounces static weight? I intend on adding lead tape. I then proceed to add lead tape to the bottom corners and into the throat. I like to leave about a thumb's length of space between the throat and the grip because I do grip up high a little bit for two-handed backhands. And yeah, and then so a little bit further into the paddle. Some of the specs, it's a 5.3-inch handle. I just saw recently, as of last month, that they're currently offering it in a 5.6-inch handle as well. For me personally, I am a rather tall guy and have larger hands. I can hit a two-handed backhand fine with the 5.3-inch handle. I don't see any point in changing to the 5.6-inch handle personally. In fact, I kind of enjoy the 5.3-inch handle more because it leaves you with more paddle face to contact the ball. So I think that's what I would probably stick with if I had the option to change to the 5.6 like people do now. And so in terms of the face material, it is a grit technology. And I find these paddles to be very spinny and very gritty. And the foam injection allows them to still have enough pop and plow that you can still hit through the ball. It's not going to be the power of something like, the Gearbox Pro Power paddles or, like a thermoformed carbon, but it's not far off from those. I think it's probably a tier, maybe a tier to a tier and a half below that. I still personally get plenty of power with the paddles. I've never thought, wow, I need more power in these paddles. And I think the big thing here is that they're giving you an elongated shape paddle for the price of, you know, $90 with a discount code. Speaking of which, Dawson Stento 10 at, or sorry, Dawson Stento now at checkout will save you 10% or $10 equivalent on the Vatic Pro paddles, every line of them. Anyways, back to the review though. So for the paddle, I find that the pros for me are good spin, good pop. It's very easy to add weight to this paddle and make, you know, whatever minor adjustments you want to make. Long handle and a price range of $90 is unbeatable. Literally, I don't know of a paddle better for $90 at this point in time than the Prism line of Vatic paddles. My personal gripe to these paddles is I have cracked 2 corners on them on the edge guards after about 6 to 8 months of play. One thing I have started doing now is I have taken edge armor or the armor guard, and I put that on. I then put electrical on over that to guard those corners. And since doing that, I have not had that issue happen to me again. But at the same time, look, you know, for $90, that's like the equivalent of 1/3 of most paddles on the market right now, if not even 1/4. It's a pretty darn good paddle. It's a paddle I go to tournaments with still. I typically right now play, you know, 4 or 5 plus tournaments, and I'm plenty confident going to that tournament with that paddle, thinking I can compete with anyone. And so, with that being said, I think that con is outweighed and there is ways around it with the edge armor. Other than that, I absolutely love this paddle. I think Vatic did a great job with it. I don't think that there's anything else that could be done to this paddle in terms of like additional add-ons right now that would make it a better paddle or a better deal than it already is without disrupting some sort of fine margin or pushing some of those USA pickleball limits. But other than that, yeah, guys, look, you know, this is my paddle of choice and I absolutely love it. I strongly encourage you to give it a try if you ever get the chance. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you.